The Government of India has reduced export duties on petrol, diesel and aviation turbine fuel, that is ATF, for the fortnight beginning June 1, 2026, that is tomorrow, as part of its periodic review mechanism that is linked to international crude oil and refined product prices. And according to the notification issued by the Ministry of Finance, the revised export duty on petrol has been lowered to Rs 1.5 per litre, while diesel will now attract Rs 13.5 per litre and ATF Rs 9.5 per litre. And all these revised rates will remain applicable for the next fortnight, after which they will be reviewed again based on global price movements. Well, the government had introduced export levies on petroleum products on March 27, 2026 in the form of special additional excise duty and road and infrastructure cess. The move was taken amid escalating geopolitical tensions in West Asia and concerns over disruptions in global energy supply chains. The primary objective of these levies was to ensure adequate domestic availability of petroleum products by discouraging excessive exports at a time when international markets were volatile and energy security risks were rising. And under the revised structure announced for the current cycle, petrol exports will attract only a special additional excise duty of Rs 1.5 per litre, with the road and infrastructure cess component remaining nil. Diesel exports will be subject to a higher SAED of Rs 13.5 per litre, while aviation turbine fuel exports will continue to attract SAED of Rs 9.5 per litre. Well, the differentiated rates reflect the varying demand conditions and price trends in global markets for these fuels. And this latest revision marks a significant change from the rates notified on May 16, 2026, when export duties were comparatively higher. And at that time, petrol exports were subject to the duty of Rs 3 per litre, diesel faced Rs 16.5 per litre and ATF attracted Rs 16 per litre. Well, the reduction in petrol export duty in particular indicates a softening of international gasoline prices, while diesel and aviation fuel continue to remain relatively expensive due to the sustained demand and ongoing geopolitical uncertainty affecting supply routes. Officials have also stated that fortnightly revision system is based on the average international prices of crude oil, petrol, diesel and ATF during the preceding review period. And this mechanism allows the government to respond dynamically to the fluctuations in global energy markets while maintaining a balance between export incentives and domestic supply security. It is also intended to ensure that when global price rise sharply, fuel availability within the country is not compromised due to the higher export attractiveness. Well, significantly, the government has clarified that there is no change in the domestic excise duty structure on petrol and diesel. This means that retail fuel prices for consumers within India will remain unaffected by the revision in export duties. The changes apply only to fuel exported out of the country and do not impact domestic consumption rates, and the export duty mechanism introduced earlier this year is a part of a broader strategy in order to manage energy security during periods of international uncertainty. And by adjusting levies every fortnight, the government aims to strike a balance between stabilizing domestic supply, controlling inflationary pressures and allowing flexibility for refiners and exporters in response to the global price trends. And the next review of export duties on petroleum products is expected to take place in mid-June 2026, based on the average international prices recorded during the current assessment period. Well, the Government of India has also reduced export duties on petrol, diesel and aviation turbine fuel for the fortnight beginning June 1, 2026 as part of its regular price-linked review of petroleum levies. And according to the Ministry of Finance notification, the export duty on petrol has been cut to Rs 1.5 per litre, diesel to Rs 13.5 per litre and ATF to Rs 9.5 per litre. And all these revised rates will remain in effect for the next fortnight and will be reviewed again in mid-June based on global oil price trends. And the export duties were first introduced on March 27 in the form of special additional excise duty and road and infrastructure cess amid geopolitical tensions in West Asia and concerns over global supply disruptions. Well, the aim was to ensure sufficient domestic availability of petroleum products by discouraging excessive exports during volatile market conditions. And under the revised structure, petrol exports will attract only SAED of Rs 1.5 per litre, while diesel and ATF will be taxed at higher SAED rates of Rs 13.5 and Rs 9.5 per litre respectively. And the reduction, especially in petrol duty, reflects easing international prices, while diesel and aviation fuel continue to face stronger global demand. Importantly, the government clarified that domestic excise duties remain unchanged, meaning retail fuel prices in India will not be affected. And fortnightly revision mechanism allows the government to respond quickly to global price fluctuations while balancing export incentives with the domestic energy security. That's all for now. Stay tuned to the Savera for more updates. Do like, comment and subscribe to the channel.